I've never seen this game before. Looks really cool.
Okay. Well, so I'm kind of doing batting a little cleanup here, um, and let's see, what's that? Some looters and whatnots.
Let's see if I can
Yeah.
hear my voice coming through the stream here. Blabber, 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 blabber. Yeah, it's coming through.
Cool.
Sweet.
So I am in
I'm fucking
relatively.
famous. Woo! Oh,
I'm kind of early goings. I mean, I'm a few hours into this for sure. It's not,
so
this ain't my first
this
day.
is which one is this again? What's the subtitle on this game?
Inquisition,
Inquisition.
which
Okay.
is okay. So it is the Inquisition of old.
Hmm.
It is, but not.
The type that you don't expect.
It is unexpected. So
Okay.
all right. So basically, here's the
Sorry.
premise.
Low hanging
Um,
fruit.
my chief weapons are fear and surprise. Our two weapons are fear and surprise and violence. Our three weapons are fear and surprise and violence,
And
and a
what kind of
total
weapons do you have
disregard for
in?
authority. Our four weapons.
What kind of weapons do you have in the game?
All right. So this is
Oh,
my
you were talking about the game. Okay.
yes. All right. So here's my chick, who is all right. So here's the basic setup of all this.
Uh-huh.
Is I've got let's potion up here. Um, oh,
This looks really pretty.
let's do some lyrium potions,
I like it when
and
games have color.
yeah. It's definitely that. So, all right. So the basic premise: we've got my character here, who is the bit of a rogue, but kind of bow and arrow
Uh-huh.
centered. Although I like having a bow, or not a bow, but I like having a rogue because it just helps with unlocking shit. And this game has some chests laying around and that kind of thing. And I like shooting a bow and arrow at shit. So
Uh-huh.
all right. So when the game begins, there is this big explosion, and you as this character walk out of it, and it has killed pretty much every major leader of like the chantry, which is sort of the religious groups in this world, as well as like high ranking Templars and that kind of thing. It was like a big terrorist kind of deal, which everybody agreed sucked. So the fact that you walked out of it has everybody asking some questions, and there's also this big tear in the sky that appears that that you kind of get rid of, which you may have seen earlier when there was the big green glowing thing, and I like sucked all the power into my hand.
I did see
You
that.
you do that with you do that with the big thing in the sky, and they're trying to figure out where it came from, and basically they say, hey, since you were the only one who survived this, bada bing, bada boom, you are gonna go.
You're in charge.
Yep.
Hmm.
And then I killed the fish. So yeah, so you're going to figure out like who is behind it, kind of just a general the fuck is going on with all of this situation. In typical RPG fashion, you have a party of uh, three others. Every now and again, there'll be a mission, and you can play any of these. Like I can just hop over to a character at any time and play that
Oh, cool.
character. But I stick with my main broad here.
How
She's
far in are you at this point?
I this is the first area. Okay, I've
Okay.
been to other areas. I'm batting a little cleanup here.
That
Just
guy's
kind of.
fucking sweet.
Uh oh.
Dude with the eye patch and the horns. He's pretty
Yeah,
badass.
that is. what is his name? Black Bull, I think? Something Bull.
Hmm.
And he is, my understanding, I haven't seen this at all, but my understanding is that he is gay.
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
Oh yes, I've heard about this.
Yeah. So
you can do like romance missions, and he's little man on man action when you use him.
yeah, I mean this is still some Dragon Age shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to hide and let these fools take care of business.
I like that video games have advanced to the point where if I want to see some butt fucking, I can get that.
Yeah, so because I'm a real sleazeball, as many important historians have noted, I haven't done any of the romance stuff yet. I've had a couple of moments there where it was like, oh, you can kind of put the moves on this character or another. But like I said, this is still, fairly early goings and all of this. But I tend to I'm just racking up on elfroot, man. That is what this game is about, collecting elfroot.
It's an elfroot simulator.
Basically, it's let's go collect some elfroot. But yeah,
and there's so many of those. Like Steam Greenlight is just full of elfroot simulators. It's getting kind of tired.
I really like the rabbit. I really like the fact that a lot of them are kind of 8-bit now. Kind of going for that old school look. I think that's
8-bit
cool.
8-bit elfroot. I mean,
that's
where it's at.
What's going on down here?
That rabbit had 94 health. That seems like a lot.
That's how much damage I did to that rabbit. That rabbit probably did not have anywhere near that kind of health.
Okay, good.
And then,
actually, in real life, I gained some experience points. I believe it was yesterday morning on my way to work. Saw a rabbit at the last possible second dart out. Like, I just saw a glimpse of him over the hood of my car on the right side, and then I heard a nice big thump. And it was dark, but there was a car following me, and I looked, and I could see in the reflection off the road from his headlights behind me, I could see a rabbit body tumbling down the road in pieces.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I tagged him real good. So, sorry, rabbit, if you're out there and watching the stream. Sorry.
Sorry, techno-savvy rabbit.
Yeah, who's dead.
Yeah. Ghost of the rabbit.
I would imagine it in rabbit heaven that they have access to the internet and like beast gaming computers. So
you would certainly think so. All right, so I'm supposed to go kill some wolves, and I think this is where said wolves are going to be found. Wow, these are pretty stout animals, but they are wolves.
Did we mention that you're watching SDF Gaming.com at SDF Gaming on Twitter? We have a Facebook page. Search for Schadenfreude Gaming. I don't remember the fucking address. Facebook's addresses are dumb.
Yeah, you kind of just search for it. Don't be that guy.
And let's see, Bo is playing, and I am spectating, and we're talking about Dragon Age Inquisition. And those wolves are fucking hardcore. Yeah.
Up until the point where they disappear in a bunch of floaty fairy dust.
There you go. They had it coming.
So, I wonder if I've got to go...
That cave could be the lair of our strange wolves.
Yeah, okay. So, I've discovered Wolf Hollow. This, so this is a weird blend of Dragon Age and, like, Skyrim. In that it's kind of open world. You can certainly wander around quite a bit and discover shit and all that fun stuff. Oh, I didn't get him. But it's also very task oriented. So
go here, do this.
Your journal fills up pretty fast.
Man, it's an RPG.
Yeah, but I do like the story a whole lot. Uh-oh. All right, we got some business in here. there is a demon as well, and that's not cool.
Yeah, the particle effects are really nice looking.
The one thing I don't have that I wish I did is, or maybe I do and I'm just too stupid to figure it out, is I don't have a quick weapon change. You know, like I can't quickly go from, yeah.
With the demon dead, the farmers should be safe from the wolves.
Quickly go from like a ranged weapon to a melee weapon, and that's kind of a bummer. And but like I said, it could just be because I'm stupid, and the game totally does that, and I just haven't figured it out. Let's see, and you know, there's a fairly hefty crafting side of things. But I don't know that I'm crazy about the system that they use. Although I'm getting better with it. I don't think it's super intuitive, but I think once you kind of figure it out, like I'm just now getting to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, I really know what the hell I'm doing now. How do I get up there?
I'm getting a little tired of crafting, to be honest.
I dig it.
It seems I want it to be cooler than it is.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's like I either find it in some games completely unnecessary, or like a time burden that I'm not willing to invest in. It's either one of those two. Like I have not found like Dead Island. It was like, oh, you can craft these cool weapons and put nails in your bat, and then your bat does more damage. But I just like kicked my way through that game because it did more damage than anything you could craft, and it was like you don't need to craft anything. And then like in Skyrim, it was really cool, but you didn't, because you just found better shit anyway. Like they need to balance the. If I'm going to craft something, it's got to be worth it. It should. Yeah, that's the problem I have in Diablo 3 as well. Like you spend all this money and time training and upgrading your blacksmith, but you find better weapons than he can ever craft in a million years. Like it should be really hard to get him to craft things for you, because they should be better than what you can find laying around.
Yes.
That is not the case, unfortunately.
I'll tell you one thing I do really dig about this, though. So I'm going to go turn in this mission over here to tell them, hey, I killed a bunch of wolves for you. Any camp I have created, as indicated by the tents, then from anywhere at any time, I can travel to that tent.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah,
it's like you can put down fast travel points.
Yeah, but those are established. It's not like I can put down a tent anywhere. It's just.
Oh, okay.
But it puts you. There are enough of them around where it doesn't take long to get to any given location.
Nice.
Some doors, as you will see, are often locked and require certain perks or tools, which in this case I don't have to unlock that door.
That is a nice looking fence. That fence was tight. This game's really good looking. I like the textures. The wood texture on the buildings is really cool looking. Everything looks great.
Yeah, it's a very pretty game. One thing that I haven't shown you yet, which I will in just a moment. Hey, look, I got some power. Power and influence. Oh, and Iron Bull, that's his name. He's like, hey, you helped that chick out. You killed some wolves. I approve. So, all right, where's this other?
Don't miss that elfroot over there.
I got it. Don't you worry about me and some elfwood.
Okay, I'm a couple seconds behind on the stream. All right.
Okay. So,
I will tell you to do things that you did approximately 10 seconds ago repeatedly. So.
Fair enough. So I'm going to fast travel again real quick. I'm just turning in some missions. Like I said, I'm kind of just going through the early part of the game and picking up all these side missions that I hadn't done. The next big story mission I have is recommended to levels 8 through 11. I am 9 right now. And I kind of I like being overpowered in an RPG.
Absolutely. I will
I
grind specifically so that I can whoop some ass when it's time.
Exactly. So that's why I'm kind of doing all this shit. So here's a vista of the area. It's got kind of a more of a cartoony feel than something like Skyrim. It's not quite as photoreal.
I'm getting kind of a Fable vibe from it.
Yeah, I mean, it occupies this weird space where it's certainly more realistic than Fable is.
Yeah.
In terms of its, representations of characters and environments and that kind of thing. But it's not aiming for photorealism in the way that Skyrim is. Oh, let me show you this. All right, so I have paused the game, as you will see in a moment. So, like I said, this occupies a weird space in between, or like Dragon Age and Skyrim, because obviously the people making this game were like, hey, Skyrim was this big open world, and people seem to have a good time, so we're going to kind of create that. Even though it's not as open a world, it definitely feels more guided than Skyrim, which I also appreciate. Sometimes you just don't want to wander aimlessly. As the old saying goes, not all who wander are lost, but sometimes you're just fucking lost. Yeah. And so the PC Dragon Age, if you may recall, the original one, Dragon Age Origins, was basically, kind of an isometric style game. Even though you could, zoom in and out and that sort of thing, but it borrowed very heavily from like Baldur's Gate 2 and Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights and all that fun stuff. In this game, I can kind of do the same sorts of things where I can choose an action and stack some actions and then use the R2 button to advance time and see those actions play out. So
that's really kind of cool that they, like, it's kind of two games in one.
Yeah, you could certainly play it that way, and that's how I started playing it before I realized I just kind of wanted to kill shit. And but there are certainly times when things get real chaotic on the battlefield where I'll whip over to that and just make sure, like, everybody's potioned up, and let me get some iron here.
It's you could do that in like Mass Effect. You could just kind of pause and make sure everybody was going to do the right moves for a second.
Yeah, and this is a very BioWare kind of game. And the thing that's cool about it, though, is it makes me think, like, when they get around to doing this next Mass Effect game, this is what it's going to be similar to. Yeah. So, anyway, I am rolling up into this town because they're all a bunch of sick assholes in this town. And so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to be like, hey, you told me to pick up some herbs and shit because everybody in your town is sick and gross. And I have done so. And I should get
bunch of anti-vaxxers. Is that what we're getting at here?
No, they want to be vaccinated. They just don't have any shit. So
are
like
they
need.
Are they interested in like a hot beef injection or anything like that?
If you like elf chicks, but in the Dragon Age universe, elves are not first-class citizens.
Okay. I was trying to plan my weekend, but it sounds like I should look elsewhere.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, I'm not in a place in this game where I can show off, like, hey, here's the fuck scene. Because, clearly there's going to be one or more.
if you're watching this and you want to see that, go just stop, hit pause, go to YouTube. You can find it. I guarantee it.
So let's see. Let's see what else we got going on in this general area. Some merchants, some stuff I've already done. I think, let's stroll over here real quick. There's some artifact or some shit that I'm supposed to pick up. This game kind of, it's not really a suffering point, because I don't think any game of this scope can constantly be, everything you're doing is relevant and has immediate consequence and all that stuff. But you do
you have to live within the world, I mean, you've got to. It takes time to travel around and do like busy work and shit, because they're trying to set up that atmosphere to draw you in.
Yeah. So, and I'm still, like I said, early enough going that a lot of this is, hey, you're putting together this Inquisition, but also, I found a camp up here, right on. I don't think I had this opened up yet. The Inquisition is basically this sort of moral authority kind of deal, where you're like, okay, we're going to suspend normal laws until we figure this, hey, we've got a hole in the sky shit out. And as a result, like, you are the head of the Inquisition. When I was at that war table earlier, that is sort of your group of allies who are trying to figure out what's going on and also build up your reputation in the world. Hold on. I'm about to...
Is there a first-person mode to this at all, or is it all third-person from behind?
It's all third-person.
Okay.
But you can kind of... Yeah, I guess you can go for first-person in the pause. If you want to just stop and kind of look at what's going on. Like, hey, she's about to shoot her bow, and then this chick got a big hammer, and that's cool.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, what I can do is I'm going to select Iron Bull, and I'm going to tell him that where's she?
Seems like there are some slight camera issues with trees and walls and shit.
Yeah, but I'm kind of I mean, I'm in the middle of a forest, and I could just drop out of this mode, and I have some degree of control over it, so I can weave around it. And because I'm paused, it's not that big a deal. So I'm gonna have him do a war cry, because that's what Iron Bull do, and then I'm gonna have my magician do some lightning shit. Or maybe, I think he's got, he's recharging here. And then I am going to fire this explosive arrow at this dude. And then, let's see how all that goes. And then...
I'm ready.
It's happened.
Waiting.
It's happened.
Okay. I'm ready. Let's see it.
And all right, so I'm gonna.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, you could choose to play the entire game that way if you wanted to. I'm not sure that.
I think that's really useful for kind of getting yourself out of trouble, or you're in a particularly difficult, like you're overwhelmed by enemies. You can get in here and at least kind of get a jump start on the fight, Kind
Sure.
of set up a good series to get you going, and then pop back out and finish them off. That seems kind of cool. I like that option's in there for sure.
Yeah, and if you want to play in that manner, you certainly can. I am going to on the other hand, oh, I could just turn around and kill a ram. All right, so I'm gonna drop out this mode. And let's get back into the action here.
Get to the murdering.
All right. So in a moment, you will see that all of those fools are dead.
It's happening. It's happening. I like the electricity particle effects quite a bit. I think that looks really cool.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think it's a
I have a weak spot for electricity spells in these kinds of games. I think it's always like the power whenever I play like a spellcaster or something. I always want to unlock electricity. I just think it looks so great.
Yeah, it's a real good looking game. You're gonna see in a second. I'm kind of pinging.
I think Blackwall would have liked to have been here for this.
You can hit the left stick to do this little ping maneuver.
Yeah.
And what that does is both on the map, it'll highlight, shit that you may not normally see. I think Mass Effect had this too, if memory serves. Where you don't have to spend every second poking around every corner. It's just like, look, if you're in the area, hit the stick, you send out this little ping, and then it's going to show you where all the stuff is. And,
items of interest.
Yeah, and when I found that map, there are moments where you get kind of a brighter glow to that ping, and
so this is like all elfroot, and you're just kind of getting the orange pings. But when it's like a valuable shit, you need to pay attention. That you're going to get a stronger ping back from it on the little map there.
Yeah, you're going to get a different style of ping, and it'll also show you. Let's get back over here. There is a ladder over there. So let's go check that out. Where is said ladder?
So every time that the ping circle goes out, are you clicking your left stick?
I am. But it's, that's what I'm using to guide my character around anyway.
Yeah.
It ain't no thing. I can't get back there. I wonder how you get... I wonder if there's another way? But I'll tell you what. Since we, kind of found one thing over here, I'll head back to town and I'll show you this crafting thing just so you can get a look at that and get an idea of what that looks like. And I got to turn I've got to turn a thing in anyway. I wish I could figure out how do you get to that. Fucking. I like the fact you jump in this game too.
Yeah.
Too many games ignore something as simple as physics. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go. Hey. But it's just a ladder. Let's see if there's anything down below. Oh, yeah. Okay, there's a chest.
Nice. It's worth your time.
We'll see.
No, I mean, it already was. It was the quest of it was fun.
Yeah.
Whether or not there's anything in there,
So I have found.
If nothing else, you figured out how to get to that fucking ladder.
Right. It's problem solving. And everyone loves problem solving. Okay, so I also think the sound design on this is real good. Okay. So I'm going to hop back to Haven, which is kind of your main hub area where the war table is and all that fun stuff.
Does this say PS4 only?
No. It's Xbox One, PS4,
everything.
PC. Yeah, you can get this thing anywhere, man.
All right.
And it's been out long enough that you can pick this up for about $30 these days, which is a fuck ton of game for.
Yeah.
And by the way, not to throw off any viewers and or listeners with precise scientific measurements like fuck ton. But that will happen.
A lot. I'll translate from now on. Just more than two.
It's a fuck ton.
More than 2 hours of content.
Okay, so here's this dude, Blackwall. And Blackwall is a playable character, or, you can throw him into the party, and at that point, anybody's a playable character. And
Can you ride the horses?
Yes, you can.
Nice. Sweet.
So, in fact,
I found something that had to do with wardens.
Um,
Liked to have seen it.
so I can romance this dude and tell him he's strangely charming. But, like I said, I am a bit of a dirtball, so even playing a female character, all my romances are with other ladies. I like to think it's progressive, but in reality,
Really, it's self-serving.
it's really just being a dirtball. So
hey, the only person who can feel dirty about it is you. So if you let that go, then it's okay.
I don't know. It's pretty filthy.
I like chicks so much that 2 chicks is just that much better.
Yes, I agree.
And from what I understand, they appreciate being called chicks. That's what I've been told. So mostly just from talking to dirtballs like you.
Yes. So here's the crafting stuff. So I'm in the little blacksmith area, right? And if I go to craft weapons, you will run across. I think part of it is leveled, where just things open up that way. But there's also a you can find shit, like plans and schematics and whatnot. So, this is all the stuff I can make weapon-wise. And, it's all sortable. I can, just pick out, like, hey, here's the shit I want to make. And there are sort of accoutrements, like frost runes. You can add runes to everything. Runes, that's a fun word to say.
Rune.
So, I don't really need anything, I don't think, but let's do a Templar Greatsword.
Does this suffer from the problem I was talking about earlier, where you're going to find loot better than stuff you can craft, or...?
The one that I'm using now, the bow that I'm using with this character, is something I crafted. Okay. And it's been better than anything I found thus far. So, in theory, I could create this greatsword and also this haft to go with it, I do believe, which will increase its power. So let's do that, and we'll give it to Cassandra, who is one of the characters I usually have rolling with me. She's a Templar. So, alright, so I pick the weapon, and then it's going to show me, hey, you need so much of a metal. I think in this case it's both metals. So, I hit that, takes me to a menu, which is then going to show me how much of a particular metal I have, and also the effects. So, just kind of by itself, it does 118 damage a second with 104 area of effect damage. Seems like a pretty good weapon. I don't... Like, if I had this pyrophyte stuff, it would actually make a better blade, and thus increase the damage, but I don't have none of that. I have one of that, and that's not cool. But I can still craft it by using iron, and then it's got a supplemental that will actually add a multiplier. So, in this case...
I really like the layout for this. I think this is kind of a cool interface for...
Yeah.
It just looks sweet.
Now, I mean, now that it makes more sense to me, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw some serpent stone in there, and you can see that it's, again, changing, the stats on the weapon itself. So,
So you're like you kind of are you continuing to craft upon the same weapon? Like you do one thing and then you add some more stuff and that adds
Yeah,
more action.
let's.
Okay.
All right, so and I can also rename it, which I think is kind of cool when you first create it. We're gonna do this halved here, and we're going to let's see, let's do a chance of staggering on hit, and then let's see what else. Yeah, this seems alright. +5 critical damage bonus. Alright. So, we've crafted both the weapon and the haft. And if I have this right, which I may not, if I go to modify weapons at this point, I can... yeah, here we go. So here's this big greatsword that we just created. I'm going to select that, go to pommel, and where's the thing that we just created? The haft. Huh. Maybe. Oh yeah, no, I added strength to it, so it's this firm round pommel, I believe. So I'm going to add that. And confirm. And so, yeah, you know, we now have this weapon that we have created and done some modification to, and you can also, you know, like depending on the weapon, you can add runes or you can add, like on the bow, there's a grip you can add that I've got modified and stuff like that. And then, so I'll hop into, where's my Iron Bull dude? All right.
This actually, yeah, this is kind of like way deeper than I expected it to be. I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah, so he's got this bull's edge thing. The one thing I keep fucking up is that the D-pad up and down switches characters, and I kind of want to. So anyway, and you can spin them around as I'm doing here. And so here's the sword that we created, and then I can do, hey, here's my, you know, my comparison of the two. And clearly the weapon that I've created is way better than what he's got. So I'll equip it, and bada bing, bada boom. There you go. And
Cool.
so that's the crafting system, and that there is an armor and weapons crafting, which you saw here at the blacksmith. There is also apothecary crafting, which is potions and that sort of thing. So, yeah, you know.
You could spend a lot of time doing this shit.
Yeah, it's. I will say the one downside of. Let's see. I think I've got a horse. Yeah. Oops. Pay no attention to me firing an arrow wildly in town. I would say the one downside of a game like this, and it's not Dragon Age Inquisition, it's just any game like this, is the fact that it's tough to sit down and play for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, this is like, what are you doing tonight? Don't call me, I'm playing Dragon Age.
Right. I'm going to be playing Dragon Age for the next 2.5 weeks, and I will see you on the other side of it. One thing that we haven't really talked about too much that I would certainly say is worth mentioning is that, you know, because it is a BioWare game, the story is, of course, real key to everything going on. And it is a very intricate story. Like, I don't know I don't believe I ever played Dragon Age 2. I played Dragon Age Origin. And Dragon Age 2 was, I want to say, more like this, but took place in a much smaller space. If I remember, I think that was the big complaint about it. And, yeah, so, you know, it's interesting because, like, as you go through the game, much like Mass Effect, these decisions that you're making on behalf of, you know, your crew and whatnot, um, you know, it definitely affects the course of the game. Like I said, I don't know if I was talking to you or if I was just kind of chatting as I was streaming, but I made a decision recently about keeping some mages up in our alliance, and some people had some pretty nasty things to say about that because mages also are not looked upon favorably in this world. Because, all right, so
that shit is racist.
it kind of
it's classist. It's classist.
well, here's the problem with mages, is that they get their
Uh-oh.
they
Sure you want to say this on?
yeah, I do. I'm gonna stand by this. They get their power from a place called the Fade. It's sort of a dream world, but it's also the world that demons inhabit. So all of magic kind of comes from this place. And it's real easy for a mage to get lost in the Fade when contacting those spirit powers and whatnot, and then their body is possessed by a demon, and they become what's called an aberration. And when you made this deal with the mages, where you're like, hey, we're not going to lock these people up, we're just going to be allies with them, because, you know, again, I try to play most games as being fairly heroic. Look at that, footsteps. That's pretty cool. So, listen to all these people fighting. Get a room, you two. So, yeah, so, like, because the mages are not kept under lock and key, you have increased the risk for aberrations in this world. And also, there's the Chantry, which is the religious side of things, and they tend to look down on mages especially. And then there's the other faction is the Templars, which are kind of the warrior extension of the Chantry. And they'll do they'll send a mage or someone who possesses magical aptitude through something called tranquility, which is where they remove their ability to use magic, and it also kind of removes part of their emotions. And it, like, everything in this game and in this world, one of the reasons I really dig it is that it's all shades of gray. You know, like, I understand why these people would make a mage tranquil, but at the same time, it's like, well, you're also kind of being an asshole. You know, because
you think the religious group would be interested in living in a dream world?
Yeah. Well played, sir. But yeah, so that's
this
kind of
looks cool.
Yeah.
You may have sold me on this.
It's
I need another fucking 200-hour game. Like, I need a fucking hole
all right.
in my head. But
I'll tell you
I
what.
can't help myself.
Let me show you the thing that
Nice work,
may
Wycliffe. I could have
convince
the
you
mayor
otherwise.
work with Inquisition soldiers if you like.
So
Not that the chief has
That'll
any
convince me I need a hole in my head.
no, that
Oh.
all right. So here is the typical. Oh, by the way, the apostates are mages who refuse to submit to Chantry rule and are kind of hunted down. So I say, hey,
I'd like to know more about the Iron Bull.
what up with Iron Bull,
What would you
right?
like to know?
Is it strange to work for a Kunari?
And so,
Isn't
you
trying
know,
to convert us to the king,
typical
if that's what you're asking.
BioWare-ass
Boss charges don't care who you are.
dialogue
Boss
trees
always
and
just
stuff.
stays up.
And,
If he
you
hadn't
know,
told me he was Ben Hasrath, I'd have
you-
left that life behind.
we've discussed this both on the podcast before and
didn't expect
just
he'd tell you
in
that he
general,
was a spy.
but I have a real
Not the whole
problem with
band, but those
being a
who've been around long enough
completionist,
to
and
trust.
sometimes it keeps
figures
me
most
from
of us will
finishing
find
a
out
game
sooner or
that I
later.
really
It should
enjoy
come from him.
because I don't feel like I
Eyes
can
to
ever
eyes,
do it all.
It's never messed up at
Yeah.
all.
Like, I
Sucks
never
loads
finished
back then.
Skyrim. I've played a shit ton of Skyrim, but I've certainly never finished the story in it.
Yeah, I always get sidetracked, and it's the exact same thing. It's like, oh, I've decided to go down this path, and now I can't stop until it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it is Mass Effect in a fantasy world, and without any of the bullshit. Like, I'm gonna go scan a planet for 5 minutes for no good reason.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah,
But you know what? So here's the fucking sickness I have with talking about completionism. I scanned every single fucking planet in there.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's sick. That's sick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't make me do that.
By the time I finished that game, I had so much, like, whatever ore you were mining,
Oh, yeah.
I had more than I could use for any of it. Like, I could upgrade anything at any time and never sweat it.
Oh yeah. My Normandy was completely pimped out to the max because I had mined every single planet. Yep.
Yep, I had all the Obsidian and all that stuff. Yeah, it was sick. But yeah, so if you dig BioWare games and are planning on breaking your leg pretty soon and being hobbled, then it's a great game.
Like you have some large surgery that requires a couple of weeks of recovery or something.
Yeah. All right. So here's this big ass hole in the sky that has led to the Inquisition being a thing. I just finally got a good view of it. So yeah, it's super pretty.
Oh yeah. Oh cool.
Yeah, it's a good looking game. It's the combat is fun. Like we saw, there's a pretty deep crafting system. Surprisingly, I don't fully have my arms around it yet in terms of if I make this, can I add it to this sort of thing. So there are still a couple of question marks surrounding that, but not a ton, and it's certainly nothing that's detracting from my enjoyment of it. I do think the inventory system is a little wonky, or just I'm so used to Diablo, which has inventory down to a fucking science.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
having to figure out, like, do I have this equipped? And the game tells you that, but I just wish it was a little more clear about saying this is an equipped item versus this is just some random shit you're carrying around that you should sell, probably. But I mean, they're minor quibbles for a game that is incredibly polished, and the story is good, and the combat is satisfying, and there's a jillion things you can do at any given moment. So, yeah,
this hits the $20 bin, and it's like a no-brainer, basically.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've purchased this game both on PC and PC4 or PS4 because I have a problem with shit like that.
No, we've discussed this on the podcast, but like I said, I own 3 copies of Grand Theft Auto now. So
yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I'll be playing it on the PC, and then I'll just think, like, I would kind of just like to kick back on the couch and play this. And so I'll buy the PS4 version, and I actually played way more of the PS4 version than I have of the PC version, but it's one of those things.
So,
once I hit retirement, I'll play it.
Graphically, are there any major differences between PC and console?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a little bit more finer detail, especially in the character models and some of the textures.
They have like a lot of graphics options you can adjust and shit, like a good PC version should, or
I don't recall it being as detailed as something like GTA 5 is, which is crazy detailed. But it's certainly,
they give you every option in that game. It's great.
Yeah, but it certainly gives you, like, texture details and floor details and particle details and shadow details and the stuff you want to see. But like I said, I don't know that it's.
This already looks pretty great. So.
Yeah, I mean, even on the PS4, that's.
I know.
God, I feel.
It's like a.
I feel terrible for saying shit like that.
The words "white male privilege" just flashed in my brain.
Yeah. Even on a console that is not as powerful as the PC I have, maybe is a better way of putting it, which still sounds arrogant and white.
Well, kind of prickish, yeah.
The PC is way more powerful than the PS4, which is sitting below the Xbox One.
which is basically a supercomputer that could launch missiles.
Yeah. So
that's
yeah,
all right.
But I think it looks just fine on the PS4. I think it's a good looking game. It handles well. The fact that you do have this other option with the combat, I think, goes a long way to making it real fun if you get into granular style combat like that. So, yeah,
Nice.
it's cool.
Right. Should we shut her down?
Yeah, I'm gonna shut down the stream for a second. We may come back.
And what else do we got? We got a bunch of shit. I don't know. Just search the Googles for the Schadenfreude gaming, and you'll find all of our crap.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we do a podcast every couple of weeks called the Shudcast. Check that out because we're funny motherfuckers. So
Yeah, and
do it.
we are now on a pretty much dedicated 2-week schedule. Like the one I'm editing now, we recorded last Monday, and it'll be out before the coming Monday. So
Nice.
yeah.
So if you find listening to us interesting in the slightest, just do that because there's more of this.
You can go to sdfgaming.com and all the podcasts are available there, or legionpodcast.com is where
Legion Podcasts also, yes, where there house many other interesting podcasts. So check that out as well.
And that's where if you
right.
want to subscribe, that's where the feed hits.
Roger.
All right.
I think
Roger,
maybe
Dodge.
I'll do that. I think I'll subscribe to our podcast. I think I might. I finally think I'll listen to it.
You should rate it and tell a friend. Then don't be a dick, says Bo.